Hello and welcome back to We Talk Boxing. Now during this video I'm going to be talking about the newly formed Bridgerweight division that the WBC created on the 9th of November 2021, and to see if this is a good thing or bad thing for boxing, and if any of the other organisations are going to follow suit to create a Bridgerweight division in their organisations. Now the name Bridgerweight was formed after a little boy called Bridger Walker saved his sister from a rabid dog. Now the Bridgerweight division starts from £200 and goes up to £224, which means that it's now the second heaviest weight division in boxing, taking over formerly the cruiserweight division, which went from £175 to £200. This means that the Bridgerweight division can attract some of the smaller heavyweights to the division, as well as recruit some of the better light heavyweights, as well as the better cruiserweights into the Bridgerweight division. The current WBC world champion at Bridgerweight is Oscar Rivas, who most of you guys will remember him from fights against Dillian Whyte and Brian Jennings. Obviously, Rivas has a good boxing record, only losing one fight in 29, and that fight obviously was against Dillian Whyte, where he lost. Again, is the Bridgerweight division good or bad for boxing? One of the pros is that the heavier boxers will potentially have an opportunity to potentially try and come down to Bridgerweight to try and become a two-division world champion. And obviously this will just depend on the current boxers' weight levels, and obviously their dimensions, which will determine if they are able to get down to that weight class as well. Another pro is that cruiserweights will have an opportunity to potentially move up to Bridgerweight, and then if they're good enough, try and capture a world title at Bridgerweight. And again, depending on their frame, their dimensions, etc., it would give them another opportunity to even move up even further into the heavyweight division as well, which will then see them potentially becoming a three-time world champion. Again, so it could be a good thing for boxing, to be honest, because it just gives these heavier guys an opportunity to be multiple division world champions. And as I was saying, one of the implications for a lighter fighter like a cruiserweight or potential Bridgerweight champion, again stepping up to that next division as heavyweight, will be that they will be giving away quite a lot of advantages to the heavier boxer, such as height, reach and weight as well. But again, if they're good enough, we've seen Alexander Usyk do it recently. Deontay Wilder as well has been a former heavyweight champion, so these guys can do it. It just depends whether or not they are good enough, and if they do take one of the lesser heavyweights who ain't that good, but potentially dethrone that person as well. Some notable cruiserweights who I feel that have the potential to move up to Bridgerweight to try and capture that title, and then maybe depending on the dimensions which I spoke about, could even move up even further into heavyweight, such as Breedis, Makabu, Tabita, Glowaski, and then obviously you've got Lawrence Sokoli as well, and they're just a few names who potentially could have the opportunity to become a two-division champion, and again if they move to heavyweight, maybe even a three-division champion as well. Again, there's an opportunity there. Some might say that some of the good or maybe stronger light heavyweights could again have that opportunity as well to move up, to cruiserweight and then Bridgerweight, and maybe even, you never know, maybe even heavyweight as well, and become a four-division champion as well. So again, there's another opportunity there as well. Now, some of the cons for the Bridgerweight division. Again, currently as it stands, the Bridgerweight division hasn't got the quality in the division, because realistically, looking through the top 15, there's not a lot of noticeable names, you know what I mean, within that top 15. And to be honest, a lot of them are more like fringe weight, heavyweight fighters, such as obviously Oscar Rivas. You've got Spilka, who fought against Deontay Wilder, and Babic as well. Babic has recently fought. He fought recently. Obviously, he has again moved down from heavyweight to try and capture that world title. I don't blame him, you know what I mean, because some of these heavyweights, you know what I mean, dwarf him in a weird way, you know what I mean. They are big, they're carrying a lot of weight, etc. So for him to potentially get a world title shot, if he does capture a belt at Bridgerweight, you know what I mean, and becomes the champion like Oscar Rivas, if he does decide to move up, he potentially might move into a mandatory position as well, especially with the WBC as well, how they normally do their things. You know what I mean, there's also as well with the Bridgerweight, you know what I mean, there's an opportunity, potential opportunity for some of the heavyweights to potentially drop down into that Bridgerweight division. As I mentioned earlier, you got Usyk, you know what I mean, and Wilder. As we know, you know what I mean, Wilder, you know what I mean, generally fights around 15 stone, give or take, 15 under 16 stone. And we know about Usyk as well. Obviously, he was the cruiserweight champion, moved into heavyweight division, obviously captured and dethroned Anthony Joshua as well. So again, you know what I mean, depending on how that fight goes in the rematch with Anthony Joshua, if he wins, he might try and entice Tyson, you know what I mean, to come out and, you know what I mean, dethrone Tyson. If he loses, he might just drop down a peg, you know what I mean, to the Bridgerweight division. And you know what I mean, as it stands, looking in the top 15, you wouldn't say that any of the top 15 are better than Usyk, you know what I mean, at Bridgerweight. So I would certainly say that he would drop down and become, you know what I mean, the WBC Bridgerweight champion, which means that he would be a 3-division world champion as well. So there's an opportunity there for people like Usyk and Wilder, and maybe even some of the lesser known heavyweights as well. You know what I mean, there's an opportunity for all guys really. And again, if it does take off, then we might even see other organisations, you know what I mean, adopt this format, and they might even, you know what I mean, create a Bridgerweight division of their own. But to be honest, I wouldn't like that. I'd only like to just see one organisation do it, because it offers more of a challenge. Because if you think about it, if there's only one champion per division, it's bringing it back to the old days really. Like, there's only one champion in each division, which means that we're going to see some bigger and better fights between some of the guys within that division. Let's say first v second and third v fourth, you know what I mean, to try and dethrone each other, which means that, you know what I mean, for us guys as fans, it's going to be bliss in a weird way, because we're going to be seeing the best fights at that specific moment in time, and not really having to wait too much in regards to, you know what I mean, we have to talk about money, or I can't fight you because I'll lose and I'll lose my all, and all that sort of stuff that we've been seeing over recent years. So, you know what I mean, like I said, it does give an opportunity, but as it stands, the calibre and the quality of fighters in that Bridgerweight division isn't great. Do you know what I mean? So either two things need to happen to kind of promote it and make it better, and that's either for maybe some of the bigger boys in the heavyweight division like Usyk or Wilder to drop down into that Bridgerweight division to potentially hype it up a little bit, or you never know, we might have some sort of maybe cruiserweights or even light heavyweights move up. You know what I mean? Some of the better guys, some of the better fighters move up into that Bridgerweight division and just make it a little bit more exciting, because like I said, the names in that top 15, you know what I mean, are unknowns really, and they're not that exciting to watch. So in my opinion, there's two opportunities there for the WBC, how to try and develop it as a potential gateway to the heavyweight division, you know what I mean, or maybe the smaller heavyweights. But again, it was just a short video just to again present the Bridgerweight division and to see what, you know what I mean, is it good or is it bad for boxing? We're not going to know yet. You know what I mean? I reckon in the next couple of years, 2 to 3 years down the line, we might be sitting here and say, oh, you know what, the Bridgerweight division is probably the most exciting division that's around at the moment. But for now, it's probably the deadest, to be fair. But anyway, please subscribe, leave a comment, and let me know your thoughts about the Bridgerweight division. You know what I mean? Is it good for boxing? Is it bad for boxing? What impact do you think it's going to have on the cruiserweights? What impact do you think it's going to have on the heavyweights? Please let me know. Bless.